Hey guys, Danny Johnson here, and today we're going to be talking about whether you should drive your car as they were intended or if you should have it sit in the garage and collect dust. Okay, so that's kind of the controversy, and that's kind of the two things that you'll hear people say. They'll show low mileage on their cars, and people will get upset and say it's meant to be driven, get out and drive it. And so my opinion is kind of right in the middle. First of all, make sure you're doing what you want to do with your car. It's your property. But for an example, I have 3 different Mustangs: my Mach 1, my GT, and my Cobra. And the reason why I have 3 of them is because I bought my Mach 1 with 95,000 miles on it, and I bought my Terminator with 39,000. And I'll tell you right now, the Terminator is an entirely different car, just how it was cared for. It cleans up differently. The interior is perfect. And so there's just a difference between the 2 cars. And I'm not saying a higher mileage car is bad. There's a lot of high mileage cars that are very well taken care of. My Mach 1 had a pretty rough life, and it took some effort to bring it back, but it'll never be as clean as the Cobra. Okay, so here's my thoughts. Basically, I drive my Terminator as much as I want to. And so it's a weekend car, and every time I drive it, it's special. We're having a lot of fun driving the car, and I'm making specific memories with it each time. If you daily drive your car, you're going to put a lot of miles on it, and it's going to be out in the elements. It's going to get caught in rainstorms. It's going to get rock chips, all kinds of stuff. So in my opinion, it's best as an investment side and just taking care of the car in general to take this Terminator, keep it clean, and drive it on special occasions, and then use the other cars for the daily driving tasks. Okay, so this way, every time I drive this car, it's clean. It's very easy to keep up on it being clean, especially when you take time to get under the cars. You'll see how clean I have it here in a minute. But in the end, the daily driver is very important too, because it's really no different if I daily drive my Mach 1 against my Terminator, because they're both 32 valve, and unless you're getting into boost, they sound almost identical. And of course, the driving experience is different, and that's good too, because the more you daily drive something on a daily basis, you get very used to it. You get bored of it. And some people I've even seen post and say, "Hey, I'm getting tired of the car. Should I sell it?" And everybody says, "No, don't. Don't move on. Keep it." And so, what I love about this car as well is the color screaming yellow. It's very bright. It excites me when I drive it, and I just feel good every time I drive it. But again, I don't know that I would have this as my daily because it's so bright. You know what I mean? So I don't want to say anything bad against people who daily drive their Terminators, and they're getting good use out of them, and they're great cars. I'm just trying to talk about what I do in my personal experience. And so as I get down underneath the car, as I clean it up inside the wheel wells, it's going to stay that way, and I'm motivated to do that. I don't think I would do the same level of care on my daily driven cars, just because it takes a lot of effort. It is nice to have a low mileage car. Okay, it's a wow factor. People say, "Wow, you only have 40,000 miles on it." To me, that's still pretty low. But I think it's the perfect balance where it's not so low that it's never been driven at all, and I don't even know how to drive the car or what it feels like. But it's at the level where I feel comfortable with it. So cars, as I've said, are also a piece of art. Okay, there's construction, and there's all kinds of design that's involved with them. And so the way that what you do with your car is your business. And if somebody wants to buy a low mileage car, park it in the garage, and just stare at it as if it's an art piece, that's okay. It's their car. They can do what they want with it. And people say the same thing of, "It's my car. I can do what I want with it." On the other end, when they beat it to death and people get upset that they're, tearing the car apart or, wearing it down, and the response is, "It's my car. I can do what I want." So the same can go for people who don't want to go beat on their car at the track or drive it on a daily basis. Okay, so in my opinion, having multiple Mustangs solves that problem perfectly, because I'm able to have this car that I keep perfect for weekends. It stays nice. The engine bay is clean. And definitely, if you look under the engine bay, the white one. It's very bad shape, but it's okay that way because that's what its intended use is for. And maybe someday down the road I can completely restore it. Okay, so let's think about this. I bought my Terminator with 39,000 miles on it 8 years ago. Okay, so I'm not even putting 1,000 miles on it per year, but I'm driving it exactly when I want to. And so with that said though, let's say I put 1,000 miles on it every year, then after 20 years, it's only going to have 60,000 miles on it. Okay, so again, the way that I'm doing this is enjoying other Mustangs. Okay, it doesn't have to be the Terminator every single time I drive it, and it's going to preserve this car indefinitely. This car will always be clean. It will stay nice. And so anyway, that's just one way to look at it. And so I've really enjoyed it. And keep in mind, mileage isn't everything. If you can have a car that only has 30,000 miles on it and it's spent its entire life going down the drag strip, so it might not always be as good condition as one that has 75 or 80,000 miles on it. On the other hand, my GT, I could care less about the mileage. In fact, it just rolled over 200,000 miles, and it's still a good car. I'm gonna have to fix a lot of things on it, continue to work on things as they go out, and that's fine. Some things have already been replaced, but this is a car I could drive on a daily basis, and it doesn't hurt me to have the car sit outside at work or drive in the elements or anything like that. And so just taking care of it is one thing. But on the other hand, that's why I think everybody should have a daily and then keep their Cobra or Terminator in really good condition if they have that opportunity. Okay, so some people can't afford that at their time in their life, and that's fine. If you have to daily it, you have to daily it. Now here's a few pictures of a Terminator somebody saw at Texas 2K, and man, that thing had a hard life, you can tell. That's what these cars will look like after 20 years if they're daily used and left out in elements and not taken care of. And so some people were saying, oh, that's awesome that it's, it did what it was built for. And at the same time, I think you could still take care of it, and it's probably better to repaint it before it gets to this level and fix it. But at any rate, it's still a cool car, but you could just imagine that it's worn out pretty good. Okay, something else to consider that is almost comical is that if you don't drive the car a lot, it's not going to wear out. Certainly, there's going to be things that are going to go bad, but at the same time, for example, you probably won't even need to do an alignment or certain parts like that just your tires won't wear out before you would even notice that you need an alignment if you're not driving it 10,000 miles every year. And so granted, you want to have that perfect balance because it's bad for the car to sit. There's been low mileage cars that they start up and it smokes because everything's dried out, and you don't want that either. You want to drive it on a weekend basis if possible, or start it at least every weekend if you're in the elements with salt and everything. You don't want to drive it. But anyway, it's just kind of funny because there's literally nothing that's really broken on the Cobra, just because I'm not driving it every single day, and so it can stay nice forever. And if you put a part on it, like an alternator, I put an alternator on it like 6 or 7 years ago, and it's still fine. It is a good alternator, but just for an example, you're not going to have parts breaking all the time if they're not being used on a daily basis. Anyway, so that's my thoughts. I have people ask me all the time, should I buy high mileage? Should I buy low mileage and pay more? And I said, it depends on what you're going to do with the car. If you're going to keep it in the garage and keep it nice over the years and you would like it to have low mileage, then that's great. If you're going to use it all the time and it's going to be out in the elements and everything, and you don't really want to care about the mileage, then just get the best deal that you can. They're all great cars. So anyway, that's my thoughts. Just make sure that you're doing what you want to do with your car. There's a lot of peer pressure involved. People will tell you to go out and beat on it and race it and do this and do that, and really just do exactly what you feel like you want to do with your own car, as it's your property. You may have seen my friend Kurt that we went over and saw his car not too long ago, and he races it. He rides it hard, and still it's lower mileage and it's still good condition. Okay, so granted, you're going to have things happen the more that you drive it. And as I was discussing with him, I said, hey, it is an outside toy, right? It's not something that's going to be inside its whole life. So, in the end, that's they are meant to be driven and enjoyed, so just enjoy them the way that you want. But that doesn't mean you have to sway the pendulum one way or the other and have to go out and leave it out in the sun and beat on it, or just keep it in the garage and not touch it. So just find the medium where you are comfortable with it as your car and do what you want to do with it and enjoy it in your way. I'm very happy that mine's in such good condition and will always stay that way. And so anyway, that's my thoughts on it. Thanks for watching. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you're already following, turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. Thanks, guys.